Let me get that one for you just to make sure that it's.
Whoa! Wow. On the headphones, it's
like
so much more
an interview in a
exciting.
war zone.
It seriously
Bosnia.
it seriously sounds like favela or something.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
All right. Okay. We'll start up with some warm ups, and then we'll. I know it's okay.
I know.
So easy one first. What's your name?
Virginia County.
Okay. And then what's your relationship to the crew here, the production staff?
I'm the grandmother to all these wonderful boys.
Okay. And then so what are some of your favorite 4th of July traditions?
Being together with family.
Okay. Great. And as you think about the span of your lifetime, what are some of the biggest newsworthy events that you can think of? World events, things that made the news, that happened that as you look back, you're like, man, that was a huge event that happened that everybody knew about.
To tell you the truth, there were so many that I don't know if I could pick one particular one.
Sure. You pick 2 or 3 or 4 just big ones that come to your head.
Going to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
That was a biggie. Voting in a good president.
Sure.
Having wonderful people around you to help run your country and city and whatnot.
Okay, perfect. You got it. Good. Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right. Okay. And then just sort of along the same lines, if you think of sports, athletic achievements, physical feats, some incredible things that men and women have done over the years in sports, what are some of the things that come to mind for that? Or some big famous athletes that you could think of.
Well, I had a favorite pitcher, and now I can't remember his name. Oh gosh. Don't get old, boys.
From the Tigers?
Yes, from the Tigers.
Mark Fidrich.
The Bird.
The Bird.
The Bird.
Mark Fidrich.
Yes.
I thought you told me that.
Yes.
I had
many years ago.
Yeah. What did you like about the Bird?
Well, because he really put his whole heart and soul, I felt. I don't know that much about sports. I'm not that good. But he put his whole heart and soul into it, and they worked together.
Sure. And so as you think about sports, you had kids who grew up playing sports, and as you think about as you think about your son Wayne, for example, how would you sort of describe him as an athlete as a kid?
He was a very devoted athlete.
Mm-hmm. And so what sports did he play, and sort of what type of player was he?
Football was his favorite.
Yep.
I think football was his very favorite.
And so how would you describe him, like, athletically? What were his as you think about his capabilities as an athlete, what was he really good at, and what was he maybe not so good at?
Think about him on the field.
Oh, you mean playing a particular thing on the field?
Sure, but I mean, just or even his if you think about his ability,
very aggressive.
His physical abilities. Yeah, okay.
Very aggressive.
Okay.
And tried his very best to do his best.
Okay. And maybe what were some of the things he wasn't so good at, athletically?
Maybe running.
Okay.
He wasn't good at running, maybe till if he had a ball, like my younger son, he was like a snake in the grass. You give him the ball and he was gone, so.
Yep.
That made a difference.
Sure.
2 complete opposites of each other.
Perfect. That's great. And so, as you think about then sort of your sons, then you have your grandsons. So like Gino and Armand, for example, how would you describe Gino and Armand's relationship when they were kids?
Well, they were like water and oil, really. They never got the could never see eye to eye. They always were at each other for something. Always.
And so with sort of that relationship, how did their relationship compare to your son's relationship? How did Armin and Gino compare to Kevin and Wayne?
Two complete opposites there, because Wayne and Kevin were 7 years apart, so that made a big difference. Whereas Armin and Gino were only 2 years apart.
Yep. And as you think about, Wayne as your oldest son, when did you first know that he was special?
From the day he was born.
How did you know?
Because he was just plain special. I can't even describe it. Every child is special in their own way. Everyone.
And so we've talked a lot about sports and Wayne playing sports and Armin and Gino. So with all that in mind, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of the sport croquet?
Croquet. Well, that is a game that you have to be very patient with.
And would you, and if you think about Armand as a kid, would you have described him as a patient child?
Who, Armin?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
And so, do you remember any sort of memorable croquet games that maybe he was a part of?
Yes, because one time they were playing croquet, and I think Gino picked up a ball and threw it at Armand, and Wayne took off like a jet, and I never saw him move so fast.
And so Wayne got up and chased after Gino.
Yeah. No, after Armand.
Ah, okay. So Armand threw the ball at Gino.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And so, as you think about that event, how do you remember? Like, what was your vantage point for that? Where were you when that happened?
I was on the deck,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, I knew that Wayne was very angry when that happened, and I ran after him to stop him from running to Armin, and I knew he was going to really give it to him, and I didn't want to see that.
So did you succeed in stopping him?
Well, that, I think I made it there, but yes, I don't think it was as bad as it would have been.
Okay. So do you remember Armin throwing that ball at Gino?
Yes, I do.
So how far apart do you think the two of them were when Armin threw that ball?
Who, your dad and
No, how far apart was Armin when he threw the ball at Gino? How far apart were the two of them?
I would say maybe Gino was maybe 10 feet in front of Armin.
Okay, perfect. And then how far how far apart were Wayne and Armin? How far would he have had to run to get to Armin?
Oh, he got to him pretty quick. I never saw him move so fast. He really got.
How far do you think you ran?
The whole length of the yard, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many feet that could have been.
Sure.
Was quite a. Well, I would say maybe 100 feet or better.
Okay. Yeah. And then, if you think about like when this happened, do you remember about what year that was?
No, I couldn't remember that.
Okay, that's fine. All right. And then in that instance of Wayne chasing after Armand, if you compared that to a predator and prey, a hunter and an animal chasing after another animal, what kind of two animals would you maybe compare that to?
One chasing the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe like a lion and a tiger.
Okay. Perfect. And then finally, just for us to wrap up, any sort of final thoughts? Or sorry,
One more question before Grams. When you saw, if you asked something like this, sorry, I was trying to take care of that.
That's fine.
Grams, when you saw this happen, when you saw the ball hit Gino, and after Armin threw it, and you saw Uncle Wayne take off. Can you walk like what was your train of thought? Were you
My trend of
use
thought.
your tell us your emotions or what you were feeling, but then tell us why. I felt this way because
Well,
Yeah,
because
and eyes
number
here,
eyes
one,
on
Wayne
target.
was very angry, and I knew that if he would get a hold of Armin, he would really give it to him very badly. And I didn't want to see that
Sure.
because I didn't like to see children getting hurt or hit or whatever. So
And as you think about your 5 grandsons, if you think about your 5 grandsons, who was probably the naughtiest of the 5 of them growing up?
I can't say that any of them were naughty. They were all good boys.
And if you think about Armand and Gino's relationship, who was usually the antagonizer there?
They were both. They would antagonize each other occasionally. Yeah.
Okay. And so if you think about all the times that they fought growing up, are there any sort of anecdotes that you remember as maybe your favorite or least favorite Gino and Armand fighting anecdotes? Anything that's particularly memorable, or even like words they had with each other that you thought were funny at the time, or anything like that?
It was funny because when they were growing up, I can't remember the age, but it seems like they never rubbed the right way, ever. Now they're wonderful buddies, but when they were younger, like say maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it was like oil and water. They just never mixed. And I felt bad because I was always playing referee.
And and of course you had 5 grandsons. Were any of the other relationships as tenuous as that one?
No, it seems for some reason Gino and Armin were the two that were always at each other.
All right.
Now, I don't know if that was because of age. They were only 2 years difference apart. That may have had something to do with it. I don't know.
All right, perfect. Any other thoughts you'd like to share? Anything you feel like we've missed in our discussion here of our Gino and Armand relationship?
Well, all I could say is that I had 5 grandsons, and to me, they were all one better than the other.
So which one was the best?
Well,
I can't.
We can cut the camera for that. Cut the camera.
Yeah. You're
I can't.
off the record. Which one's the best?
No, I can't say
You
that.
say Nico. It's fine.
No, I
okay.
can't.
You
I
can't.
really
We'll just turn the cameras off, and then you can say Nico, and it'll be okay.
No, they were. I enjoyed every one of them immensely. I just felt bad that Armin and Gino, they were always at it, but I think that was because of age.
Yeah. All right. Anything else I missed, guys? Thanks, Graham.
That's it, Grams.
That's it.
Good job.
I,
You did excellent. That's it.
I hope I did.
That was perfect.